before we get into my very in-depth questions and the interest that we have, obviously, with having you here tonight, can you please just tell us who Jessé is and what exactly is Nico?
Can we start with doctor? Ladies first, maybe?
You feeling shy?
Oh no, just being a gentleman.
Okay. So then we have Dr. Iyaloo with Petwa Medical.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Iyaloo, and it's really a pleasure to be with you all here tonight. So I'm the CEO and founder of Petwa Medical Practice and Petwa Aesthetics. So we are Namibia's first clinical research center. So that is basically a site or clinical health space that allows for willing participants to get tried on new medicines, new vaccines, new devices. So the idea came about during COVID-19 when I saw a lot of my patients struggle to go for the COVID-19 vaccine. A lot of people didn't really know what it was about. And in other spaces where these vaccines or medications, other medications or devices are made, these sites where people can safely go to and get these devices or vaccines or medications under supervision of healthcare professionals and at the insurance cost of the research institutions or the pharmaceutical companies. So yeah, that is how Petwa Medical came about, but also just I went into private practice just to have everything that I love and I'm passionate about under one roof. I'm also passionate about skin health. I struggled with acne and pigmentation and hair loss, traction alopecia. The hairline kept declining. So I wanted a space where I could also just offer solutions to people. I would also see like a lot of people coming with acne and pigmentation. It's kind of like a pandemic. So just a space where I could offer my expertise, and that's how Petwa Aesthetics came about. So we are in Winter North and we are up and running for 13
I have a
months
question
now.
before I start. Is that okay? Cool. How many entrepreneurs you have put up your hands? Okay, great. How many corporate people here? Put up hands. Okay, cool. Another question. How many of you have heard of QuickBooks? If you hear the name, just raise your hand. Yeah? QuickBooks, Wave, Pastel, Sage, FreshBooks, Zoho. Okay, quite a number of you. Right, so Nickel is the African version of all of those that I just mentioned. I asked that sort of summarize the whole long speech thing. But nonetheless, what makes us unique is that we understand the African culture and the African dynamics of running a business. So, as Nita asked, who am I? I am a young Namibian guy that studied computer science in South Africa, and I've been running a consultancy since I was 19 years old. And that journey took me into launching Nico, which was launched on the 25th of October 2021. So that's when we launched our MVP. And when we launched Nico, it was literally just an invoicing system. So allowing business owners to send out the invoices and manage the expenses and automatically generate financial reports that expensive accountants and bookkeepers charge for entrepreneurs. No shade, but with that said, we've been in the journey for about a year and 7 months, and in this journey, what my team and I learned was how the ecosystem operates and what business owners really need. So if we say that we are here to help you automatically generate financial reports, the question is, rather before I say that, how many of you have collateral as young people? How many of you ever thought of applying for a bank loan without collateral? Right, so the question we asked ourselves was, how do we help entrepreneurs? Because I remember when I was 23, I had 4 state-owned enterprises as clients, and I needed extra cash so I could pay extra minds to do extra things. And I couldn't attain this money because, well, no collateral. It's young broke guy, you know. So with that, we decided that with Nicole, we'll start the access to credit, and we'll do this by credit scoring business owners. So we decided to not look at the current the ITC system. So those that are blacklisted, because many times you're a diligent worker, but then you lose your job for whatever reason, and now you're blacklisted because you can't pay off your car or your couch or whatever, so you can't get credit to run or start your business. So we decided that we won't look at that, and also won't look at collateral because, well, young people don't have anything. We just have great ideas and willingness to do something. So in a nutshell, Nickel has now become a system that enables businesses to manage the finances. So you send out invoices, quotations, and your financial reports are automatically generated for you. We also have the double entry ledger that enables an accountant to come in and do your assets, your liabilities, etc., the work of an accountant. And with the system, the accountant's cost becomes less, so you gain with that said. We've also decided to build a point of sale system because we've realized that the African market has a lot of tuck shops. I don't want to call them spaza shops or dukas or whatever else people call them. It's a tuck shop, you know, we all get it. And with that, these tuck shops, they need to access stock most of the time. And these families start this business because, well, they have kids to put through school and so on. So the lack in that is they can't manage their finances. They don't know how much stock they have. It's a manual process. It takes too long to count. You can't count wrongly. You must calculate your markup. It's just a mess based on our research. So we decided to build that, and that function will be launching this month. We've also decided to build human resource management system into the product simply because I come from a computer science background. I have nothing, I don't know how to hire people. I also don't know how to time track people, you know, so from my own personal experience, I figured that if we can give a business a solution that enables them to manage their employees or their team, they'll find it easier to grow the business because you only grow business with humans, not robots yet. But so the human capital system is in there. We also decided to add a CRM. One of our biggest problems in our early days was trying to manage which salesperson is doing what and are the numbers accurate. So the CRM enables a business owner to calculate the leads, to calculate the deals done, and pending contracts that are in the process of making. To summarize all this, these nice features I mentioned will be on the public media within this month. And also, we have 12,000 businesses using Nickel as of date. We have raised a good amount of money that keeps us going. And we are present in 7 African countries with a few partners in these countries. And again, what entrepreneurs need to understand is that it takes a village to build a city. And we all know the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. So, I mean, that's the process we use, and we respect our partners because without them, I mean, we wouldn't be here today. And the exciting news, we just managed to close a fundraising deal this morning.
I want to ask you both, because I think even when we invited you guys to speak today, I did speak about the honest part about entrepreneurship, because oftentimes it's glamorized, right? It's you can leave your 9 to 5 and you can become an entrepreneur and you're free. What is that we learned in grade 6 in business studies? You have flexibility and you work from home and it's really a fairy tale. But the truth of the matter is that it could easily be 10 times more difficult to become an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, than to have, a structured and set and stable 9 to 5. So I want to ask the both of you, what is one setback that you faced that close to nearly derailed you from your entrepreneurial journey, and how exactly did you overcome that specific setback? A setback, a challenge, any moment in time on your journey where you were like, whoa, perhaps this is not meant for me. Perhaps, I should actually just stop dead in my tracks and leave this and find a comfort job.
Yeah, I think for me it would be, I was so used to being an employee. Like I was used to everybody else, my boss doing everything for me. I started from the government, so I was used to the government doing everything. I just needed to show up. Then I went private, and going on my own. I struggled some days, being my own administrator, being my own cleaner, being the boss, and still being the doctor that sees the patients. So there were moments, of exhaustion and burnout. And I think I kept asking myself, when does Petwa medical practice operate independently, outside of me as a founder? And it's 13 months later, and I think now I have gotten used to it. I had to remind myself of my why and the reason why I started. But along the way, the partnerships came, the burnout was real. And
so you definitely speak to them expanding your team. But how do you know when to expand? Because sometimes you don't have the resources to pay for people. You spoke of partnerships. Was this then leveraging opportunities to bring in talent, but then exchanging a different sort of resource to give them, as opposed to like paying them? How did you manage to build a team, without expending too many of your business's resources?
Yeah, that was also another struggle. It really took time because the unemployment rate in our country is really high, and a lot of people knock on your doors. You open the clinic now. Can I be your receptionist? Can I join you? Doctors as well. We have doctors that are unemployed, and they would want to join the team. It was a struggle at the beginning, but I think just communicating the vision and where we're trying to get, that the money is not in the first day or the first few months, but it can get there, and we can share the little that we have and work towards a common vision. I think just being open with that from the beginning, because also people will look from the outside and think, oh, there must be, the money here, dollar signs, doctor practice, clinic is happening here. But just being open and honest to what is happening, and communicating that to the potential partnerships that I got along the way helped. And when you do that, I think people understand and they're willing to work with you to achieve the goals.
Thank you. Jessé, got a few minutes to think about what you'd like to say.
Long while. I even forgot the question. What was the first question?
The first question was a setback or a challenge that you faced on and along your journey that you really felt could have derailed you, that could have stopped everything, but that you obviously overcame. We'd like to hear about
my
the setback.
journey as Nicole or as an entrepreneur?
Both really. You can speak on, if they're two separate, you can share that.
It's a long journey. My journey started when I was in my teens. So we all heard of Windows 95, right? 98.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
You're going to make some of us look old.
Right.
Everybody denies.
So I was a curious kid. I mean, if I had a screwdriver and it had screws in, it would be opened. And unfortunately for my dad, I opened his computers, and back then it was 98. So I got all the hidings, as you can imagine. But that didn't stop until he took me to computer school, and I learned hardware and networking. That's why when people ask me, can you fix my laptop or PC, I get annoyed because that's 100 years ago. But nonetheless, so after learning those trades, I actually started helping my neighbors with their computers, and I'd repair them, and they'd give me some money, and I'd use this money for my own habits as a young kid. I then later on moved to Cape Town, and I got a job as a salesperson at the waterfront. And what I used to sell was gourmet, so your pomegranates, your jalapeno sauces, and all these things that great cooks enjoy. And this journey improved my sales skills, because we all know nerds can't sell. Nerds are weird people sometimes. And that improved my sales skills. So before I graduated, in my final year of university, I decided to buy some extra books, sat in my dad's office and learned how to actually develop websites, like basic stuff, right? And that got me my first gig. I built a few websites for a couple of hostels there. I lived in a hostel myself when I was in uni. And after uni, I'm not a South African, so obviously I was kicked out. I'm joking, guys. I had to come back home because I had no visa, and it was just an unnecessary expense. And I didn't see why I needed to go back to SA because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. Obviously, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but I wasn't really sure what kind of entrepreneur. And I then took my savings, which was 12,000 Namibian dollars, and I came to Windhoek, stayed on my cousin's couch, and bought myself a laptop because my laptop broke, and I registered my business. And that's basically 12,000 dollars. I had some taxi money though. And what I used the taxi money for, was to go around Windhoek and look for clients. So I'd go onto the internet and I'd look at how ugly websites look like, and I'd build a small demo on PowerPoint and present that to executives. And that landed me my first big deal. Back then it was big because I didn't know much, and I only got the deal because I was the cheapest quote. But nonetheless, I got the deal regardless. I was really happy. This deal got me an apartment. I had a bed and a camping chair and stuff, and it was cool. And then the deals started coming in, and I was still a solo flyer. And then I found a mentor. One of the clients that I served, she started advising me indirectly, and she then became my mentor. I asked if she could mentor me, and she advised that I get a team and showed me the whole team structure and all that. And one thing entrepreneurs need to understand is it's okay for an employee to get paid more than you. Okay, if you're getting paid $5 and the employee is getting paid $50, it's okay because you're building something and this employee needs to survive. So it's a win-win in a way. But nonetheless, she gave me that advice, and I started to hire a team around myself, and I was surrounded by great minds. And then the hiccup came in when I got a big deal and I couldn't access funding because I had no collateral. That journey ended quickly. So basically what I was doing is I was building websites, mobile apps, digital security, and soft social media marketing. I call it soft because I'm not a marketer. I was learning on the go. You need to hustle. So with that said, I got a big deal. I was offered a big deal, and I couldn't afford the startup capital. I tried to get it from my cousins, friends, etc. They didn't have it, so I tried the bank. Everything was all over the place. I didn't have the right financial stuff. The accountant I had was frauding me. I hope he's not watching this. The accounting stuff was just all over the place. It was messed up. I was paying this guy monthly fees and nothing was happening. I even owed Nambuwa about 70K, which wasn't true. I obviously went to go talk to them and explain my situation. And I got frustrated because the new Procurement Act came into picture, and the customers I had were state-owned enterprise customers, and we never did this whole tender process because I pitched to them, right? I went to them. It wasn't something on the newspaper, and they still did the diligent thing of contacting other players in the market and asking them to also propose on top of my proposal. So then the new Procurement Act came into the picture, and poof, like that, all my clients gone in a span of a few months. So it was literally like back to ground zero, sold all my cars. I had 5 cars. I had one nice fast car and 4 taxis. And I sold those cars so I could stay in Windhoek, because I knew that if I went back to mom's house, I would struggle getting back to Windhoek. It was a struggle to get to Windhoek to begin with. And someday a company called GFA calls me, and now I'm a consultant. And I was doing stuff that I never did in my life, and it was a journey. And in that journey, I realized that I should build my own product. So that's it. I built 2 products, and what I did was I built it, tested it. When I realized it wasn't generating revenue, I trashed it, and I did that twice. And on the third one, about a week in, I got paying customers. And lucky for me, that happened when Startup Namibia got me to an accelerator program with Startup Wise Guys, pre-accelerator program. And thereafter, I started generating revenue, graduated from this program, and got into the actual accelerator program. And they then invested and taught me all the things that I know currently. However, the struggle in it is that it's hard to remain consistent and believe in yourself when you open your fridge and you wonder what you're eating tomorrow. So the thing is that even as my fellow entrepreneur here from America saying, being an acorn, it's really hard, because sometimes you need to make certain sacrifices. I mean, my first car that I got rid of was simply because I believed in what I was doing, and I knew someday, somewhere, something will happen, and obviously survive as well. And that grit and endurance is, I think, what makes entrepreneurs. We had a lot of doubts when we launched Nico. Actually, it was called Silent Accounting. Horrible name. And our business manager, Jamie, sitting right there, she was like, dude, this is an ugly name. You better change it, or else we're going to lose customers and stuff. And I found the name Nico in my journeys in Tanzania. But nonetheless, this is another story. With that, I would say that it's really not easy being an entrepreneur, especially when you have no funding, you have well, the support is there, friends encouraging you with words, yeah, go for it, but you don't really need that. You need money to go forward. So it's really tough. It's crazy. I mean, I tried looking for a job, and the only jobs I got was a call center at MTC, salesperson job in a computer shop, and all these things. And I'd compare that and be like, if I spend all these hours here, I'd rather spend it building and doing something cool, So I tried the job route. It didn't really work for me, but it improved my communication skills, and it improved my sales skills. So in my early days, that was a key factor for me because of the growth and the knowledge I gained.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one last thing from you guys before we wrap. I'd like us to take a short break before we go into the panel discussion. What is one critical thing that you would tell every entrepreneur, every aspiring or budding entrepreneur in this room that is relevant and relatable to your own journey? Somebody who's sitting here, who's ready to give up, who's ready to stop everything, which is the reason why I asked you your questions. What is one thing you would be able to tell them today so that they can leave this room re-energized, empowered, and ready to continue with their market research, ready to try and redo that prototype, ready to try and go pitch to somebody else? So just 1-2 lines from both of you before we take a short 10-minute break.
1-2 lines, market research.
Anything, not just market research. I was just...
That we should tell entrepreneurs.
Anything.
Anything. Okay.
not
I
a
would-
story, she
I
said.
would, I would say that when going into entrepreneurship journey, make sure you have a trusted friend that can become your co-founder. Because for me, my friends are all doctors and they are not entrepreneurs. So I couldn't actually have a business somebody that I could bounce ideas. Now I do, Jessé, but I mean back then it was really hard. And start off with a co-founder and make sure that what you're building is within your market. For me, as in the SME space, I could pick up the phone or meet guys at NBII and ask them what's happening. We need money, so hence Nico, we give money. So great, we can help entrepreneurs now with access to finance. But that was the biggest struggle for me. And when you don't have a co-founder, what happens is that, let's say a key star gets sick or gets a high-paying job, who's going to fill those shoes? So now you as the founder are filling in 2-3 shoes, and you're running out of time because you need to deliver and provide, and you need to deliver good service nonetheless. So have a key co-founder, analyze your skills, and then look at your own network and see who else is willing to take that risk of sleepless nights and really sleepless nights. Who's ready to take the sleepless nights with you and actually be there if you're not present or you have other things to do? Yeah.
Dr. Iyaloo?
So for me, I always tell myself that I should not leave God out of my business. Literally, like I use his teachings to, pick me up every time, to motivate me. They say weapons will always be formed, but they'll not prosper. Sorry, they'll not prosper. So really, one needs to know that there's gonna be challenges. They will be there as a startup, as a business person, but just know that at the end of the road, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. And also that words have power. They say the power of life and death lies in the tongue. So when you go out there, speak positively about your business and keep that in your adverts, in your pitching, in your networking. Always carry that with you. It will really translate to the next person, to your client, to the investor, and it will propel you to greater heights.
Thank you so very much, Jessé. Thank you, Dr. Iyaloo. I'll now afford the audience a 10-minute